Hello out there, all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear listening into another Gamer's Thoughts discussion. Now, for those who are listening on Anchor, Spotify, and any other podcasting platform, you likely have not heard me make the quick short about Tails making a fake Chaos Emerald. So, this is a follow-up to that, but I'm also going to get everyone caught up that may not have heard this already from me. But if Tails can make a fake Chaos Emerald that is usable, why didn't he make a whole set and see if he could make a super form with that full set of fake emeralds? Now, I've sat down and thought about this a couple times, and it's just one of those plot points that was major to the story of Sonic Adventure 2, but then it's just like it became nothing because nothing was ever done with it at any point again. You could take Sonic Battle, the whole situation with Emerald. If Tails had a full set of those fake emeralds, they probably could have given those to Emerald instead of using the actual Chaos Emeralds. That might have actually negated the effect of the actual Chaos Emeralds because the fake emeralds work on a similar frequency, but it's still different. It's like, I guess you could consider it to be the opposite, and they're also not as powerful as the genuine emeralds are. They're still powerful enough because in Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic used it to perform chaos control to teleport out of that space pod that Robotnik jettisoned and set to blow up. He teleported out of there and got back to the space station with the fake emerald. So, I mean, it has to have a substantial amount of power, even if it isn't as powerful as the actual Chaos Emeralds. So, with this knowledge, you would think Tails would be like, hold on, he used this to escape that explosion and saved himself. I know how to make these. I can make a full set of them now. And let's take it a step further. Be like, hey, Knuckles, can I study the Master Emerald to be able to make a clone of it to go along with my clone Chaos Emeralds? Why wouldn't he do that? I would think that it would be a good idea to go ahead and try to attempt to do it. And then when they run into the version of Blaze that comes from the Soul Emerald universe, see if he could study those and make a copy of them to have on hand. Again, they're not going to be as powerful as the genuine article. They're just not. But they could still be useful. They could still be used to create some sort of super form. It wouldn't be as powerful as the original. It may not even look the same as the original. But it would probably be a leg up in situations where Robotnik is trying to steal the actual Chaos Emeralds. And it could have been something that they could have used to help themselves at other points in time. Those things could have been very useful to the overall story of Sonic the Hedgehog. And it's like Sega was like, yeah, we got this interesting point here that Tails was able to create his own fake emeralds. And even then, you would think Robotnik saw what Tails did. Why wouldn't he attempt to make some fake ones? Again, story points that make sense to me to be explored that would have been good for the series that they just never explored. They never did anything with it. And I always question that. Why didn't Sega go ahead and put time and effort into seeing if they could expand upon the point of the fake Chaos Emeralds? I really don't know why they didn't do it. And it could have been so much better for the story if they had taken the time to go ahead and say, hey, well, Tails did it for the story purposes of trying to stop the machine, and he wasn't concerned with making any more. But Robotnik, with all of his technology and his genius, should have been able to do the exact same thing. A lot of the stuff that Tails does is replicating what someone else does. So why couldn't Robotnik do it himself when he's created so many different things that are very powerful and useful and that would have harnessed the power of the Chaos Emeralds anyway? Why wouldn't he make himself a fake set just so he can test his machines and get an idea of how strong his machines would be with the actual Chaos Emeralds, and even, again, a fake Master Emerald? The idea of the pseudo emeralds in the story of Sonic opens up a lot of different doors that they could work with. And it's just like one of those things, like, why did they not attempt to do it? Why didn't Sega sit down and look at this and be like, yo, we could have used this for other stuff? And again, these emeralds don't have to give the exact same form to the characters as the other emeralds. They don't have to. They don't even have to be similar, outside of it's a power-up. And it may not even have to have the same weaknesses as the full totality of the Chaos Emeralds as well. Maybe it doesn't drain your rings as fast. So like maybe it drains it half as fast for half as much power. So you have something that maybe could last longer, but it could still be useful. I mean, they went through all this trouble to create the wisps and everything, and they use them a lot. But you mean to tell me fake Chaos Emeralds was not a thing that they thought of? And heck, even if you give Tails the time, or Robotnik, depending on whichever one was to continue with making more of them, you could give each one of the individual fake emeralds a special attribute that would be useful to them outside of having the full set. I mean, it seems like maybe Sega was kind of considering this idea for Sonic 06, because you were supposed to be able to use Supersonic outside of the main story beats for him. You were supposed to be able to get an item that would allow you to turn into Supersonic, which is still in the game. You can hack it back in. But that could have been a follow-up to the concept of the fake emeralds, and this could have been a supersonic that just was not as powerful as the full totality of having all of the actual emeralds. And again, hey, maybe even having a fake version of the Master Emerald could turn these fake emeralds into super emeralds. Turn them into fake super emeralds and power them up even more. And maybe they just cancel out with the actual true emeralds. Say you try to use them with the true emeralds together and the powers don't work together. So it would have to be one or the other. But it would also be a good way to have a backup. Like this way they could actually have a situation where Robotnik actually takes all of the actual Chaos Emeralds and they still have something they can fight them back with. Like, yeah, sure, maybe the power isn't as strong, but it gives them something else that they can work with that could help. So I'm just like, why hasn't this been done? I mean, y'all just really, truly just sitting on this with like you're just, it was thrown away. It was made a major, important plot point for Sonic Adventure 2, and then it was just thrown away like a lot of stuff when it comes down to Sonic's story. A lot of stuff that could be interesting, they just, let's toss it. And then wonder why Sonic doesn't feel so cohesive as far as like how things work versus, say, a Mario. At least with Mario's stuff, you can understand how he still retains everything he's gotten. Like all those power-ups, they still exist in his universe. They can come back at any point in time, as evidenced by the Tanuki leaf. Those power-ups can come back at any time. The Tanuki leaf, Fire Flower, the Invincibility Star, all of that stuff can come back. And many of those items do. So, and even story plots come back, obviously, because of how many times Princess Peach has been kidnapped, or the fact that they have now a couple times had to do things as a group and work together to take down whatever Bowser was doing. But that is still as bad as Nintendo never bringing Wart back from Subcon. But again, Mario's story in the long run is still more cohesive than Sonic. Sonic's kind of bounces around from place to place. They can be interesting individual stories, but they're never really, oh, okay, I see how this all works and all of it lines up. Outside of a few games for the more modern era from Dreamcast forward, a lot of the earlier stuff doesn't really mesh as well. And that was a tangent I didn't even mean to go off on. And maybe I'm wrong on that. I mean, Mario's stuff overall, you can kind of see how it all works together, but Sonic's I said it wrong. Sonic's story is more cohesive, but a lot of stuff is lost from his story, whereas Mario's story isn't as cohesive, but you still retain many things from all the other little bits of his stories. That's how I should have said it. So somebody was probably listening was like, hold on, Andre, that's not right. But either way, I want to see the idea of the fake Chaos Emeralds come back. Because it could have helped in multiple situations in stories in the games that they should have existed. I mean, the one that Tails has, that yellow one, should still technically exist and still be usable. Plus, I'm kind of interested in how those emeralds would affect Shadow. Like, how would those fake emeralds interact with him and his ability to use chaos power without the emeralds and how it's amplified with it? Would those fake emeralds then cancel out his power? Because that stuff was never explored. So they're interesting concepts that just never really got touched on. And it's like, you have all of the pieces, Sega, but you're not doing anything with them. And this is one of many pieces that just got tossed aside. But I think I'm done here. I don't want to drag this on too much longer. If anybody else has anything that they would like to add, and hopefully I'll be getting this on YouTube sooner rather than later, once everything is straight with my computer. But if anybody has anything that they'd like to add, please do. Feel free, either on Anchor or on YouTube, whichever one you hear it on and you want to respond, please go ahead and say something. But outside of that, thank you guys very much for listening in. Keep your eyes and ears up for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out, everybody.